All right, you legends, we got a new member here. Laura from California. So Laura is a Cat 2 racer from California, and she just moved to the area, and she will be riding with us from time to time. So she needs big miles because she does Cat 2 racing in at least 75 miles. So we're gonna get some clips for you all. Should be interesting.
On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton, rolled into the woodlands. We picked up Laura. Laura just moved here from the area from California, and she joined our team, and we headed out west on 1488. That's on film there, past Moleston. Then we stopped filming when we got into Magnolia. We took a little bit of a detour to get on 1774 there, and went out Riley Road, past Todd Mission there. Very overcast day, but just nice temperatures, about 13 Celsius, 53, 54 degrees most of the day. We came back by the Renaissance Festival there, back to 1774. We stopped at a store at the Shell there, and then we went through Magnolia and back on 1488. Although it was about 6 hours or so, it just seemed quicker. The pace was decent and steady, and we got a great building endurance ride. I think you will love the clips we got for you. We're on the open road, the FM 1488, westbound, towards Magnolia, Texas. We are in, I believe, the northwestern tip of Harris County, on the edge of probably Montgomery County. We are going to be visiting Grimes and a piece of Waller by the time the ride is done. The surrounding counties in the area. Harris County is the largest county in our area. Like for those of you in the California area, how Orange County is it's a fairly large county, similar here. So Laura's doing the work. Found out Laura's got a big engine. Laura's took some strong pulls, so that was good. We're going into the west wind right now. The wind is blowing directly in our face from the west. And later in the ride, hours later, it will shift to the northwest. So we had a nice tailwind off camera coming back on this very road. Kind of a cross tailwind. You see how smooth Laura looks? Just the legs are moving, that's the way. We're gonna be tweaking her fit in a bit. She's got another bike that she's never had a fit on, and then this one, she's not 100% happy with the saddle, so we're gonna tweak that. Just minor tweaks to perfect everything. But she's got a decent position on this bike. She looks very comfortable, very smooth. That was the first thing I told her when I met her. Because she had mentioned needing a fit on the other bike. So when I saw her on this one, I was like, oh, you got a pretty good fit on this already. And she said, yeah, she had a fit on that. But I think the saddle on this one needs a slight tweak. So when I do fits, my approach is, if you already have a decent position, I go ahead and measure your biometrics, I call it. I measure your body proportions and I compare it to your decent fit that you have. And we have it before and after to where this is what you came in with. This is where your body says you need to be, and these are the changes we need to make. So we have all those numbers. Should we ever need to reference what you were doing before? You're not starting or reinventing the wheel. that's always the best approach. And my style for doing fits is I walk the rider throughout the process to where they understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and what the result should be, so they can tell when we've arrived. Because you can't feel for someone else. They have to feel for themselves. I don't believe in doing fits to where you just set the bike up and then put the rider on it and they have no idea what you've done and why you did those changes. I believe an educated customer is the best kind to have, because they know what not to mess with. And they know when to say, you know what, I need to seek help. It's a lot more challenging when people try to work on things themselves and they actually break things, then bring it to you, and it becomes a bigger job than it should be.
Into the wind is coming from the west.
So if you want to DIY on your bike and there's an area you have not ventured into before, look at those vultures. They're eating a deer over there, deer carcass. But anyway, what I was saying is, don't try to DIY things you have not researched or you're not comfortable doing or don't have the correct tools. Because when you do take it to the shop after you've been messing with it, it will cost you more. Because they're going to charge you to undo what you did wrong and then fix it properly. Because you've made it a bigger job. Or a lot of times they'll have to replace the very thing you were working on, whereas they could have repaired it had you not messed with it. So you want to tinker, find an old bike you don't care that much about and you can practice, but it needs to be an educated practice session, meaning you got to do some research to know how to work on that particular thing before you venture into it. Don't just go blind trying this and trying that when you want to learn how to work on your own bike. You can see how long she's been sitting up here. And that's what you need. A group of 3 to 5 riders is ideal for getting a great workout. You don't need a monster-sized group. So if you're riding with a group that you're not happy with, try building your own. Get your close friends. You guys ride together. You don't need a huge group. You need people that will be on time and that will get the ride done so you can go on with the rest of the day. I mean, when we got to the parking lot, we were looking for Laura. She was already dressed and on her bike spinning around. Those are the kind of riders you want to ride with. Like last week when we went to meet Mike Barrera, 7:14, he was on his bike. And our scheduled time was 7:15. So as soon as he saw us, he just clipped in. We rolled. That's what you want. You want people that respect your time. Don't ride around with time wasters. Use your time wisely so you can partition your day. You give some of your time to cycling, have time for you, time for your friends and family or your hobbies, whatever else. Because cycling is not the only thing that people do. It's one of the things that need to dominate your entire day. It's more fun when you have other things going on. You're a well-rounded person. The road, there's a little bit of a bump here. And Paul is carrying a very high cadence here. It's early in the ride. He's keeping his legs first. So this stresses your aerobic system. I'm staying right around 90, thereabouts. But we're working. I'm at the bottom of, well, I'm approaching sweet spot, top of tempo. So it's a tempo ride. So Laura pulls off, Paul takes over. I would tell her, good pull. That was a nice strong pull. Right at the top of the tempo zone right now. It's good pace. Just steady work. You can hear that wind. I dubbed it down, but it was just blowing. The sun tried to peek out later in the morning, just slightly, but by the time we were done, then the sun came out a bit. But the forecast had called for it to be overcast. We're wearing our Souke, I would call it fall spring jersey, kind of. It's not for deep winter per se. I would say down to maybe about 5C, but not much lower than that. They're going to be sending another set of jerseys that go into even colder temperatures. They're fleece lined. I just found out about it today, communicating with the agent. So once they get out here, I will do another video about
3 months
them.
ago, there were trees.
Yeah, I'm telling.
All that stuff you see is new.
Tell Laura about the stuff on the left. All those buildings on the left that we're approaching. They used our shoulder here, made it a lane because of this construction. It was all trees a little while ago. Both sides of the street. It's all new.
It may have just opened maybe a week ago, if that.
Yeah, it appears that the station on the left, there's a gas station that's attached. I believe it is an HEB. They have their own gas station as well.
Laura on film. That's why I turned the guy on.
I'm telling Paul that we're live. He was not aware of it. But all of this used to be just trees. So now they took our shoulder. So when we're riding in here, we're going to stay in this lane. This is a main lane now. See, the shoulder now is smaller than it used to be. They cut a piece of it. But this becomes, they're using our shoulder that used to be here for a right lane for the high school. So we're going to stay a little to the right of the main lane, but in this turn lane. As if to say we're riding on a shoulder. In a little while, you'll see a car pass us on the right that's going to the school. There. He's going to that school. There's a turn on the right. We're not turning there. We're going straight. But had we been on the shoulder, then he would have come around. I'd much rather him pass like that than to come from the left and come across us. So by staying over here, you force them to either sit behind you or do what he did, because he's impatient. I'm not sure what he's late for. Nothing going on.
So we call this Mount Magnolia. It's kind of a joke.
So the wind is pounding us.
The railroad tracks, because the railroad used to hold up traffic, so they just went over the tracks about 3.5%. So the joke is that everybody calls it Mount Magnolia. Yeah. This is Magnolia. That's a high school.
That's Magnolia High School on the right, and then there's a second high school called Magnolia West High School once we get into downtown Magnolia on 1774. And because the wind is pounding, we're focusing more on keeping the effort steady, not trying to focus on how fast we're going up this thing. So you gotta remember that. If you're going up a hill into the wind like we are, and you try to do 40 kilometers an hour, you would have to put down some big watts. And that may not be your goal for that day. So right now we're gonna ride at a reasonable pace. I'm getting right near a sweet spot now. Paul is maintaining a steady pace. So you can see I'm doing 400 plus watts, but we're only going at 24 kilometers an hour. It's about probably 14, 15 miles an hour. That's why you cannot train with speed as a metric. Effort matters. And Laura looks comfortable back there. So this time of year, that's what you want to do. Spend long hours in the saddle building your base. So there will be stretches where you work hard, like we're working hard here. I'm a little above sweet spot, edging into zone 4. But we're not going to stay there that long. We're already at the top. That's because of the wind and that climb. So Paul kept it nice and steady but hard. So just because they say long, steady distance does not mean long, easy distance. You're still working. You're building. building your base fitness. So we start the descent here. I'm gonna move over in a little bit and give him the camera as I go by. There's a lane on the right that feeds the shoulder onto this highway, so I keep checking it to make sure nothing's coming, especially after that traffic separator. I want to make sure nobody's there. You see me look again, just to make sure they're not going to make any kind of lame decision. So we stay here because that shoulder ends. They have some barrels sitting, so I don't get on the shoulder. We just stay here until we get past the construction barrels, then I'll move over. It's early in the morning. There's not much going on here. There are 2 lanes, so we stay here because it just makes more sense instead of jumping on that shoulder and then having to come back over. We're better off here, so our position is predictable. Just in case another road user shows up, they know that we're using this lane instead of waiting to get here and jump back in the lane right there. See? So we stayed there because of that reason. You can see that in the distance. Once we get past them, then I move over. So keep that in mind as you ride. Avoid darting in and out. So if there's a hazard that you can see coming up and you're already in the main lane, it's better to stay in the main lane until you pass the hazard versus coming up on the hazard and having to get back over, because you may not be able to because there may be other road users there at that time. So when it's safe early, take the lane until you get past the hazard. It's better to be more predictable than to be making last minute changes, even in your automobile. Same thing applies. There's a bump where this thing meets the bridge. So I stand up, take the weight off the wheels. Just one more. Everywhere the junctions are not smooth, I let them know something's there. And staying closer to the white line, it was smoother. Further to the right, it had like a lip. You know, they need to fix them better than that. I don't know who the GC is for the guys that work on the road, but they need to get better. What they call the general contractor guys, whoever reviews the work. You got to rep to protect. They need to be squared away. Yeah, that's what they say in the military. They need to get those junctions where the bridges meet the road squared away. It needs to be smooth. It needs to be done just right. I stay close to the white line because it's smoother there. Because over to the right, there's more debris. So I stay within a foot. I'm downshifting as the road goes up because I want to keep the tempo the same. You can hear that wind. It is pounding us. It's a heck of a way to start the ride. You can visually see this road going up. And now look at the grade above the Cyclist avatar. It will probably hit 3 to 4%. I kept downshifting until I found a gear that I knew I would be able to comfortably turn and keep us in the same range. You can see my heart rate creeping up into sweet spot to the bottom of zone 4. I'm not paying that much attention to it as I ride. All I'm focusing on is keeping things steady. Because it's okay to do a little bit of work while you're doing base, but don't kill yourself during this time of the training season. And once it levels off, I start to shift up through the gears. I really love the way that Souke long sleeve jersey fit. I'm getting on the road early again because the shoulder ends. So I didn't wait till we got over here. As soon as it was clear, I got over. So the cars coming behind could see we're using the road. And they know why. Because if you wait till the last minute, then you can get squeezed out. I don't know why they took our shoulder away and put that curb over there. And you can see those sewer systems they got on the right, the concrete blocks. It looks like they're gonna come back here and do some more work. So maybe this is temporary. They need to start thinking about the future of all these cars. You know, you can't build enough roads. I was talking about the jersey I'm wearing, the Souke spring fall jersey. The fit is nice. If you look below the pocket, see how it wraps my waist? As good as it looks, it feels even better than that. The jersey did not move at all, and those pockets are loaded with food and my essentials kit. And then when we're not filming, I carry the camera in the third pocket that you see flat on the right. As you load them, they bellow out. So the design works. They work really well. We expect to get, I may have mentioned it already, but we're going to be getting even warmer jerseys in different colors from them. That goes below 40 degrees. Yeah, I'm not sure what this exchange was. I think Laura was coming up, and so Paul probably let her in, so he's going to slot in behind. I told her to watch this video because she has not seen herself ride. And until I met Paul, I had not seen myself ride either. So it was nice to be able to see myself on film, to see what I felt when I was on the road riding the bike. The bike felt good, I felt comfortable and whatever, but to see it on film, it was a whole different experience. So if you can, and you can get somebody to film you out of from a car or whatever, it helps to see how you look on the bike, to see how comfortable you may or may not be. So what we're going to be trying to tweak on Laura when she comes for a fit on this bike she's riding is periodically she would scoot back. And I think it was because she said that the saddle's kind of old. But I thought, I said, well, maybe we just need to check the positioning, the level and so forth, and maybe the fore-aft a bit. But gravity will cause you to slide forward when your saddle is not ideally placed. And I think that's all she needs, just a minor tweak. And then we can use the settings on this bike to mirror on the second bike that she wants to have the full fit on. Because she looks very comfortable on this bike. Even her hands look relaxed. That's the way you're supposed to look. We're approaching downtown Magnolia, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a detour through a neighborhood, because once you get closer to downtown Magnolia, the shoulder disappears. You can see it's getting narrower, and it's busy this morning. I don't want to stay on there. I wanted to show her a quieter way to get to 1774. We get close to it, so we're going to turn in here. And then we turn the camera off. So we take a break from having those cars zoom by us.
This is Magnolia.
Okay.
Going to Michigan. All downtown, yeah. We have two high schools. Park only path.
Magnolia is a county, right?
It's kind of a town, yeah. Yeah, it's a town within Harris County. We're still in Harris. Harris is the largest county, kind of like maybe Orange County.
Okay.
Yeah, the biggest county, and then we've got neighboring counties called Waller, where they have Prairie View A&M University.
Okay.
Or we have Grimes County. We have another county called Walker on the north side. But Harris is the biggest one.
Okay.
So most of the time, if you don't know where you are, chances are you're in Harris County.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the Houston main county.
There's a dog in a fenced yard barking, so we're not worried about him. We encountered a loose one when we're off camera. He was running around crazy.
Out of the way. So we can save that for.
So we're on Riley Road here. We're further north of Magnolia, Texas, probably about 8 kilometers north. We're headed west, and the wind is still pounding us. And Laura is pulling. And I was telling her to look at the house on the left because it's an odd-shaped house, but it's somebody's house. It's got its own little lagoon. The road goes up here. You see the watts? I keep my cadence fairly high because it's early in the ride. We're going against resistance and wind. So you gotta save your pistons. Listen to that thing. You see how well our kit fit. There's no flapping or anything. Even Laura's kit. Your kit needs to fit you. Laura's wearing a gilet and she's got arm warmers on. She doesn't have all her stuff here yet. You know how when you move sometimes the mover's always behind you because they're probably coming by ground or whatever. So she had to temporarily buy some stuff for cooler weather because where she had been riding it wasn't cold. It wasn't that cold. She's from Northern California. And so once her stuff gets here, she'll have all her leg warmers and knee warmers and all that stuff that she needs. That she's going to need down here because the humidity here, it makes everything seem colder. I just wore tights because I knew we weren't going to break 65 Fahrenheit, and it was a cooler 18C, which is about 65. So the day is cooler, it's overcast. I just knew I better just cover up and be done with it. There was no reason to wear leggings because leg warmers because I wasn't going to be taking them off. On a day where it's going to be very changeable, then I try to wear those because if it warms up too much, I can yank them off and put them in my pocket. So I really study the weather throughout the week, up till the morning of, and I even walk outside to make sure that things feel correct for that day. Because the weather does change around here quite a bit. So wearing the Souke fleeced tights, bib tights. They call them leggings on their site. But if you're interested in them, I will put the links in this video, but you can also look under the what they call leggings and look for the fleeced bibs. That's the ones we have. We got the ones that are black and black. I stand here because it just felt better. You know, I'm a big guy, so when I stand, it's almost like I'm cheating because I can put more power to the pedals. For me, it feels better than trying to sit all the time. So I told her the road's gonna get a little crappy, but not for long. We're in the county, smaller counties, you know, the roads are torn up. It might be Waller that we're in. I think we're in Waller County. The county lines here are really weird because they're zigzaggy, if you know what I mean. Meaning you can turn left and you're in Harris, then you turn right, you're in Waller, then you turn left, you're in Grimes, you know. So it's hard to keep up. But I know this is not Harris County. But one thing in Texas, we don't play with our roads. The counties that have the funds, they keep it up. Probably about half mile of this, and then we'll turn right. That's a sign in the distance. So about 600 meters. There's a dog over there. She's very leery about it. Laura said she has some friends that were bitten by a dog, so, you know, she doesn't trust them, you know, while riding. There's a guy walking the dog, so I figure he's there.
All right.
This is Texas. He said, "How y'all doing?" You're deep in the heart of Texas. There's one car coming, so she just gotta wait. As soon as he goes, then we can go.
Now we're really out of town.
So in about 1,000 meters, we're going to be turning left. We're headed north. So I'm letting her know that these roads are heavily used by cyclists. I told her about the book that was written years ago and sold in bike shops, kind of like a map of the Houston area for cycling specific map. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, there's no business.
Yeah, what Laura said is that they have areas like these that underwent a lot of growth, and then eventually they lost the quiet solitude they had. So I explained to her that out here, you have to have a reason to be out here because there's no industry. It's people's homes and some farms. So it's been this way for over 30-something years since I've been here, and so hopefully it'll be this way for time immemorial. We'll see. So we're kind of on a little like a hiatus during the ride where we're just chatting, and then we're going to get to that road in the distance and turn left back into the wind, and then we'll start riding again. I let her know there are cyclists on the southwest side of town that ride out here from an area called Jersey Village, the Northwest Cycling Club. They come out here to train.
They have a bike shop that sponsors them. So the area is called Cypress. We're a little north of Cypress.
Oh, okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, Cypress. So a lot of cyclists on the other side of town that come out here. But we're more north.
Yeah, we're north of Cypress, Texas. There's a cycling club called the Northwest Cycling Club. They have a bike shop that sponsors them in the area near Jersey Village. They come out here to ride too. So we're kind of in the northwestern tip of Harris County, where it blends in, it meets Grimes County and Waller County. So we're going back into the wind, so I'll go ahead and roll to the front.
better wave.
Oh,
Wait.
hey, hi.
He told her she's on camera. She needs to say hi to you guys. So we're headed west towards Highway 362, which will take us to County Road 325.
I hope the wind stays like this and we'll have it on the way home.
Yeah.
But it always changes.
It always shifts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's my luck, so.
Because usually, because we're going west, and to go home we'll be going east. If it stays like this, it'll be nice. And it did on this ride. It didn't shift too much. We got more from the north, which is on the right. So it stayed north. It went north, but it stayed a little westerly. So we had like a cross tailwind on the way home. It was nice.
I'll let you pull for a bit before we get to County Road 325. I'll let you pull here before we get to 325.
All right.
Just shorter pulls if you want.
We'll let Paul go ahead and take a lead here. So we're both wearing the same jersey, just in two different colorways. And I mentioned earlier they have a warmer one that they're going to send. It's fleece lined that can go into temperatures below 5 Celsius. I'm more interested in jerseys that not only keep you warm, but are very breathable. And these definitely fit the bill. Because you can always layer. It was good to see Laura with a light on her bike front and back. That's cool because I think it's just a good idea to have. You're just more visible and then you can wear whatever you want. If you want to go stealth, you can do that. Because the lights are seen first before you are. Light travels. Light and sound. I believe light travels further than sound. Let me verify. I'll come and take the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sun's trying to peek out. You see the blue, you see the break in the clouds in the distance to the left of my shoulder. So a little bit of light was coming through. So yeah, I just looked online and light waves travel much faster than sound waves. Light waves do not need a medium in which to travel, but sound waves do. So light wave will move faster through a vacuum and air, although it's slower through other materials like glass or water. So you're better off having a light if you want to signal people. Let's say if you're lost hiking or whatever, it's better having a light than sound, because sounds needs a medium to travel further. So a little bit of light can be seen from far, far away. So the next time you're out there, stick a light on your bike. if you don't have one. On this film, the camera does not do that rear light justice. It is a lot more vibrant than what you see, and it dances around and the patterns change. That's made by Buntrigger. It's called the Flare RT, something like that. Then we also have the Cyclist Dice TL50. We got the set of those that work really well too. They're tiny, they weigh a few grams. No excuse to not have a light on your bike nowadays. I don't walk around at night without a light either. I carry something, carry a flashlight, something. The wind is very, very stiff. I dubbed it so that you'd be able to hear the car going by and other things like the dog barking and all of that. The cool thing about the software that I use, you can decide which pieces of the audio you can dub and how many decibels. I mean, it's very, very involved. You know, you have to educate yourself about it, but I really love that. You can really control the quality of the audio. It helps to have, of course, quality audio equipment, especially for the voiceover. Since I upgraded my equipment, things have just been really, really top notch. Look at the little blue creeping through. You can see the blue sky between the clouds. We're getting a little bit of sunlight through there on this otherwise gray day. So because we're on a flat road now, with Paul pulling, similar wind conditions, and now I'm sitting in zone 1, top of zone 1, let's say. That's the benefit of the draft.
And that bad boy picking up, isn't it?
The wind picking up.
That bad boy's blowing. Yeah. I think you upset somebody. I'm telling you, this sucker.
That wind just, right there, it just started gusting.
Should get a break on this on 362.
So don't feel the need to fight the wind. Yeah, that's the 800-pound gorilla. Focus more on your effort.
And this is the prairie, but the route we're going has lumps. So you got a nice variety. We're gonna go about 1.5 miles and we'll turn left on County Road 325. You're gonna love that road. Very quiet.
When we got on 362 on this ride, I don't think we're even passed by a car. If at all, maybe one.
Let me give you a break.
This is 362.
All right.
So I checked. I told him there's a car coming, but it was far away. So that might have been the only car that passed us, if he did at all. He may have turned on that road. But we had this road to ourselves, so you will see us doing an echelon. I will move more towards the center of the lane. There's a dog over there. I said, hi, boys, what are you working on? The owner was there. I waved at the owner. And Laura said, those are the kind of dogs she likes. And they're just quiet. They just looked at us. Looked like they were out going hunting. Dogs out here look very fit. They have room to run around. I think that's the best thing to do for a dog. You know, you don't want to get a dog cooped up in an apartment. They get bored and they start damaging stuff. They eat your furniture, they eat your shoes, you know, because they need to get out. So the wind's blowing from the left, so I stay a little towards the middle, so you can see Laura is a little off to my right. Now Paul is moving closer. That's why I'm staying a little towards the middle of the lane. I don't want to take up the entire lane, but just a little. You know, I like to use like half the lane at the most. If the group is bigger, then you have to use more of the road, but you don't want to be on the white line in this situation because the wind is blowing from the left and in our face. So you need to give your mates the ability to shelter themselves from that west wind that we've been fighting all morning. That's why I'm where I am. Okay, so one car did pass us. They were so infrequent on this stretch that I ended up telling Laura that this is unusual, because for this stretch I thought this is a busier road, and even though they're infrequent, we do get them passing. And on this day, I think that might have been the only one that passed us. It's as if to say we're on a closed course. So we're doing about 18.5 miles an hour into this blustery northwesterly wind. I'm showing her where the county line ends and the pavement changes color. It's Grimes County. So Paul's sitting back here. He's not really in the echelon to get a good shot, I guess. Well, now he's moving up a little closer. So he should be on Laura's right. This is Grimes County, and the road changes. It's good quality chip and seal. It's not that bad. That's what I'm explaining to her. Is like usually we have more cars coming by. So. For this road. Listen to the wind. And look at Laura's hair. It's flipping it all over. I mean, it's just blowing. I'm at the top of zone 2, getting into tempo zone. Normally I would be like zone 1. But because of the conditions. Because I'm, 200 watts. Yeah, it's the conditions. Our turn is coming up. There's a little bump here before we get to our turn. I keep my eye on the road. As we begin to get closer to the turn, there's a car that shows up in my mirror, but he's far enough away to where we can still execute the turn. So you will see me take up more of the lane and point to let him know we're going to be turning. He's not that close to us, but he can see us and we can see him.
There.
I'm making it clear to him that we're turning. I'll probably point again. Oh, yeah, exactly. That's not for these guys. It's for that car in the back. so the driver can know. And you can hear him go by. We turn into the wind, and this is a grade. Immediately it hits 2%, it's going to keep going up.
Very quiet. Cars that come here have to go through because the wind is not.
I let Laura know even cars using this road have to slow down because unless you want to tear up your front end. Those little ruts. You don't want to be moving at speed here. Plus the road
During
is
the
narrow.
summer, you're gonna appreciate these roads.
Oh, they come to that.
Yeah.
I'll be seeking those out.
Yeah.
That's being in that sun very long. Not fun.
Yep. It's brutal.
The humidity, I think.
Yeah, the
It's so
humidity's
sticky.
gotta be hard.
Yeah.
That's when I'm gonna choose my travel wife to go back to California.
Yeah.
In a few kilometers as we climb, Paul is distracted. He misses a shift. And so, you know, we take off. He rides back to us. But that's what happens on the climb. And she and I will talk about it, not regarding him, but regarding her, because she ends up cross-chaining because she realized that, oh, I'm just going to do this for a little bit. And it was too late for her to try to downshift, and you know, you lose a lot of momentum when you're already on the climb, and then by the time you get going again, it takes a lot more watts to get you up to the rhythm you had before. So she just kept it in the cross chain gear to finish the climb. You'll hear us talk about it in a little while. I'll tell her, I said, when I stand, I feel like I'm cheating because it's a little easier because my body puts so much more power in the pedals.
I feel like I'm cheating. It's easier when I stand. I can put more. Yeah.
I can put more power in the pedals when I stand. So that's why I do that. If I'm going to do 1200 watts on a climb, just stand.
And he's John Mulbrecht. On the climb, he likes to go hard because he doesn't weigh much.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about John. Clément Champoussin, the AG Tour Citron La Mondiale team. So Julie, Laura is a strong rider. I don't know why I keep trying to call her Julie. I used to ride with a lady named Julie a long time ago. She used to do the ApparelMen. I think she reminds me of her. Because in my brain, I kept trying to call her Julie. And it was, you know, Julie and Dennis. There were a couple that used to do the ApparelMen in Kona when I used to live in Southwest Houston. And we used to train together. They have a similar body type.
Listen for the same.
So it's like that's a steep descent. We've done repeats on that a few weeks back, Paul and I. That's I'm cheating. This is where this is where Paul missed his shift because he's laughing and then he misses the shift. No, it's the next one. Because we're gonna ride away, and then by the time he gathers, then he rides back to us. But I'm not aware. I look in the mirror and I don't see him, but I see him in the distance. I thought he was just taking it a little easier. But I wanted to just sit on Laura and see. Laura's a strong rider. Because she went up. This is one of the steep pitches in this direction that's coming up, where those guys wanted us to stop for Darren's flat the last time. That's where those guys wanted us to stop the last time. And then Greg Schott said, you know, it's a brave man who calls a stop on a hill. You know? Yeah. It's just to get going. You know, you have no way to get the bike going. We don't have anybody to push us. This is where Paul misses the shift. And by the time he recovers, he gets gapped. So he's busy laughing. He doesn't shift early enough. And this thing kicks up. Look at that 5%. It's going to go steeper than that. And I'm just sitting on Laura's wheel. And that's where she cross-chains just to deal with this pitch. Because see, I think it said 9%, 10%, yeah. So it got up to 10%. And so she didn't want to lose momentum by trying to go to the small chain ring and find the appropriate ratio in the back. So she cross-changes to get over that hump. And that's kind of what you have to do in certain situations. For a little bit, it's okay, but don't make it a habit of staying in that cross-chain combination for very extended periods of time. It's not efficient. It's not as efficient as you could be, and it wears your drivetrain more. So short periods is good. So he's gonna ride back to us. We just keep riding. We don't wait for him. I'm coasting because that's a slight downhill there. We just keep riding because I see him in the distance. He's not very far. And I say, he probably didn't want to go that hard or whatever. But then when he comes back, you will hear him tell us. He would tell me, oh, I missed a shift back there, you know, and I paid the price. Something like that. I don't remember exactly what he said. And I told him, yeah. And then we end up talking about it, Laura and I, because then I mentioned, I said, oh, that's probably why you stayed in. He said he rides back to us. And we didn't wait for him. He had to ride back on his own volition. I'm telling her about one of the areas, Whitehall, where there's a store. Just kind of letting her know. Because she's going to go back and check out the map and then see what we've done. And that's how you learn an area. Got to go look at the pictures. Look at the map. It makes a big difference.
Now you were climbing back there and you were cross-chained. I think if you had put it on your flooring.
Yeah, I know, but I realized when I sat up, I was like, oh, that's...
Yeah, I know, it's too late. Because then you would be more efficient and not wear your drivetrain. Find it a while. Get it a little easier.
But what she was saying was that by the time she realized how steep that thing was, because it's an odd climb, it jumps, it's not gradual. She wanted to just maintain her rhythm and not lose, lose that momentum. And that's what happened to Paul. He was in the wrong gear. When it started kicking up, then he realized, oops, I should have shifted. And when he tried to correct it, he lost the gap. That's what she was trying to avoid. So those are the two extremes. Because he did not want to cross chain.
I lived in Austin, I lived on Jester. I hated it. Right? I always avoided, I went home the back way.
Jester Mountain in Austin, it's a steep climb. I didn't ride it that much. I lived up there. Yeah. I hated riding it.
Very smart. What's up, boy?
That's the dog on the left. That's a smart dog. He lives across the street.
Easy.
See, he walks to us and he just stops. He never chases. He lives in that blue house on the right. So I'm letting her know. It's a well-behaved dog.
See how much cooler it feels out here, my brother?
Yeah.
It's like 13 Celsius, about 53 degrees Fahrenheit.
13 Celsius. So that means we're barely at 60.
Yeah.
Upper 50s. Yeah, it's nice.
It's about 55, let's say, 55 degrees Fahrenheit, 13 C.
56, 57 degrees.
Something like that.
Something like that.
the conversion. Sometimes you got to round up, sometimes you round down when you go from Celsius Fahrenheit. But it's in the 50s. It's a cool day.
I got cut in the wrong gear back there. I was like,
I think you were fine. I wasn't gonna change my rhythm.
yeah.
We ride this stuff often enough to where I knew he wasn't worried about the climb, and so he just explained he got caught in the wrong gear.
My little ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get caught in the wrong gear, you feel it.
So I had that thing. I had it in my little ring by the time we
So by the time you
saw
find
it.
it and you lost that momentum,
Yep.
then you gotta start all over. Yeah.
And that's why Laura went cross chain instead of when they hit. It went from like 5 or 6 to like almost 9 or 10 in an instant. And she was like, I'm not gonna mess up my rhythm. So she just shifted to the cross chain gear just to get through it. It wasn't that long. That's what you have to do sometimes. Because if you stall and try to downshift all that, besides all the noise from your drivetrain, you lose that momentum. You got to put out a lot of watts to get going again, as opposed to maintaining. It takes less watts to maintain than to get started. That's why I like these routes. You can come out here and these hills will make you work, and you're still in relatively low heart rate zones, you know, tempo, zone 2. And if you do it often enough, when it's time to go into higher zones, you'll be ready because you'll have the capillaries you need to process the lactate and get all the nutrients and stuff to your muscles. Even the dogs weren't out. That one dog we saw, that was it. There's usually a bunch of dogs in this yard on the left. None of them were out. It's too cool for them, I guess. In a little bit, you'll see how we handle when cars are coming on a narrow road. We go ahead and give them a lot of room so they can get by. You don't want them sitting behind you. You don't want to block them. You don't want them sitting behind you longer than they need to. So as soon as somebody says car back, we go single file so that so they can go, and then we come back to what we were doing before. Continue our conversation. We turn here now. We're going kinda north, but it's gonna turn to northeast in a little while. But you can hear the wind. It's now blowing from the left, and some of it is in our face.
Yeah, we have a lot of wind in the valley too, so it wasn't a matter of if, it was which direction it comes.
You see how Laura kit fits her? There's nothing flapping. Only her hair is moving. Your kit needs to fit you right. There's no other way around it. I cannot say that enough. Anything flapping can cause chafing and drag and all of that. You don't want anything moving around. It needs to fit you like second skin.
If you're going into the wind and you can't find the rhythm, it's brutal.
It's not just about the fact that it looks good on you like that, but it's really the efficiency it gives you.
Fight the wind and we turn around and warmed up. Now I switch it from the south.
Because you don't want to be like a flag out there.
Last week. Yeah, we fought that thing last week. Was brutal. I think to say there was a storm in the area. It was just constant.
Yeah, we got pounded last week. I thought there was some kind of storm coming. I don't know what was going on. That's the cow. He's looking at us. We didn't get him on camera, but there will be another one looking at us like we owed him money.
No, actually I'm from West Africa, and Paul is from Central Africa.
Yeah.
The Republic of the Congo. I'm from Liberia.
Oh, okay.
I did my college in Houston. Been here a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura asked whether we're from Texas originally.
Yeah, we studied English, we studied French,
Okay.
and so did Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but in Liberia we speak English. That's the standard language
It is now.
for conducting business.
I get it.
Yeah. So we don't claim it because we're not English. so we use the Queen's language. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
So we're both well traveled.
I say.
Yeah.
You've been in Texas how long?
Ooh, I've been since '81.
Okay.
Yeah.
I came here
Yeah.
for college.
To stay, huh?
30-some years, yeah.
Yeah.
My family was already here.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
Okay.
So once I got out of high school, I came over.
That was a change.
Not really, because Liberia was, I grew up in Monrovia. The city is named after James Monroe,
Yep.
who was one of the presidents here. It's very Americanized.
It is, okay.
So there wasn't much of a change.
Oh, okay. Well,
Plus in school we study all the countries of the world. So, you know,
nice. Yeah.
I knew more about America than Americans.
Honestly. They came over from England. They had to get their citizenship, and they went through all this. And she's quizzing me. I'm like looking at her. I go, see, you don't even know, do you? No.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's a
When I did my citizenship, it was like review. I knew all that stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we study the world. You get to know about England and all that stuff.
Sure.
World history. Because we stay in school all year. We don't do this 3-month off
Oh, no?
that they do here.
Oh.
You get off for Thanksgiving and then you get off for Christmas.
But
Couple
they
of
keep
weeks, but the whole year you're in school.
Yeah, here, even more so these days. I feel
No
like
kidding, the kids are
out of
barely in
more
school.
than they is.
They started school in August and then they got a break for fall. I'm like, come on. You just got back to school.
Well, and in California, COVID hit. My daughter, she was in her junior year, missed her entire senior year, no graduation.
Wow,
The other one missed her sophomore year,
that sucks.
and then finally went back for her senior year. She hated it because she'd been out for so long.
Yeah.
She had no connection with her.
Yeah, no, they didn't do that here. They didn't miss that much here. They started that online thing. We did it for 2 days. I'm like, no, you going to school.
Right?
It's like I was running a school. I didn't have time for
Oh,
that.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So they didn't miss much here.
Car back.
So we got 2 cars. One going the other way and this guy. That's normal on this route.
Yeah, you can count on one hand how many cars you will encounter on these county
Come on,
roads that
running
we
the
have
car,
found.
You will struggle. Because it's up and down.
Up and down. Yeah.
Up and down, then when it flattens out, the wind hits you. No break. If you get a frisky dog, you try to get away from it. You don't have luck today.
It's funny as I listen to this.
This is why we like coming out here. I mean, look at this. Nothing.
Yeah.
This is wide open farm country.
This is Mike Barrera from San Diego. He loves this because he grew up on the beach.
Yeah.
So this is all new to him.
Oh, yeah. This is totally different.
Yeah. I watched the clips and I laughed at what I shared when I was there, but as I have to say I wasn't there, it's still funny, the stuff that we do on the ride. It's really cool.
In the north of Papa Corner, Mount Pleasant.
I'm letting her know that Mount Pleasant is a forest, is almost like here too.
Yeah, like this.
Once you get past Papa Corner, you go in the forest, it's like this. It's a San Houston National Forest. The ridges, you love to ride the ridges.
Car back.
The drivers appreciate when you go single file as they approach. As soon as he said car back, I didn't wait for the car to get to us. I just moved up. And that way they don't break their rhythm, they just go on by. They don't even need to accelerate. That's what we all need to do. Share the road. That's what they mean. From both sides. That's like a 6%, 6 or 7%. That's FM2 in the distance.
I know has single digits.
Yeah, that's the first FM road I've come across in Texas that has single digits, FM2. They're usually like 28 something or 10,000 something or 14 something. So
Yeah.
that car had to go in the grass for this other car to come. That's how narrow this road is. They couldn't pass each other.
Watch out, gravel.
So even though FM2 is a busier road, the volume is very low. So you get a few cars. But it's not a county road, you know. I guess it's a farm to market road, so it's still a state highway.
When
That's
I
what we're
first
talking
moved
about.
Here, I thought it was a radio station.
Paul said he thought FM2, FM this.
Like, what?
When he moved to the area, he thought the ApparelMen radio station, I know, farm to market. That's funny.
Yeah.
So the FM, yeah, FM 1484, you think it's like a radio band. Farm to market. There are farms out here that use these roads to get their produce to market. And this FM2 is lumpy too. And it's chip seal. But it's better. We've had worse chip seal. There's nothing coming.
A place called Whitehall, and I'm going there today. This road you take us to.
Yeah, Whitehall, Texas, we would turn left here if we were going to Whitehall and we hit 29. I think it's 29, FM 29 something. 2998 or something like that. Don't remember exactly. But that's the way to Whitehall. It adds 4 miles one way to the route. So it's about another 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. The road kicks up again. Don't be shy to shift on your rides. You know, you don't want to be laboring. Because your legs recover so much easier if you have the right tempo. There's a car coming, so I'm moving up in front so he can pass. I see him in my mirror. And Laura has the Garmin, I believe it's called Varia now. I don't know which model. She has an older model, she said. But I found hers to be more accurate than the newer ones. Because the guys we ride with, theirs beep all the time. Hers, whenever it would beep on this ride, there was a car coming. And it would beep early enough to where the car wasn't close when it picked it up. So I don't know. So I told her, I said, well, she said they were making fun of her on some ride where they found out she had an older model. I think it was Abby. She was riding with Abby and them or something. And I was like, well, I think yours is more accurate than the newer ones, because the newer ones they're just beeping all the time. And hers, that she said is like 90, the high 90 percentile accuracy, because she said that every now and then she might get a wrong beep, but it wasn't that often. So if the old one works better, keep it on your bike. Don't spend no money on a new one. As long as it's working and it's not broken, use it until it falls apart. That's the way I do. I don't upgrade. Same thing with my phones. I went from iPhone 6 to 11, and then I had a problem with the 11, so they upgraded me to 12. So let's say from 6 to 12. That's 6 iterations. So I guess my next iPhone will be 18 or 20. As frequently as they're coming out with them, it's just not worth it. They're too expensive. It's about $1,000 for a phone now. If you want anything decent on it, like a good size hard drive to record videos or whatever, you know, whatever you're into, like you go to a concert, you don't want to fill it up if you're trying to record like your kids' recital or parts of it anyway, however, whatever event or a baseball game or whatever. So it's good to have a decent hard drive on them when you get them. So yeah, so I don't keep up with the upgrades and what I call the planned obsolescence. We're approaching 362. It was the same road that took us to County Road 325. We're further north, but now we're headed kind of an easterly direction. And we're going to turn south on 362, then go east on County Road 302. So on this highway, we've been working the whole time. It's up and down, and then the wind's blowing from the left. You see where Laura is? Laura has a nose for the draft. That comes from being well coached and from competition. You just get to learn how to save energy. And Laura has won races in her categories in California. She had on the race jersey on this ride, the race winner's jersey. So she's a very class athlete. She's not pack filled, so to speak.
Whitehall 4 miles that way. Small town, one store. Everybody hangs out.
So I'm doing the same thing I did when we took Mike Barrera out, giving her just reference points so that when she goes back and looks on the map, she can now say, oh, okay, this is what we did. This is what he was talking about. That way she can come out here on her own if she chose to and do this ride, you know, whenever she was in the mood or whatever. I want her to know the area independently. That's the way to do it. Because everybody's got different schedules and not all our rides may meet the schedule of everybody on our Veloharmony group meet team thing. We're starting to grow our own group now, and Laura's on the app. So we're going to add more people. We've had a lot of requests in the past, but we did not have a forum set up to where we could communicate our rides to them easily. And now we do. So if you're in the Houston area and you want to ride with us, just contact me or contact Veloharmony. Go to veloharmony.com, send a note or whatever, and I will add you. All I need is your mobile number and your name. We'll add you to the forum so you'll know what we're doing. And you can join us if you're in the Woodlands area.
Yeah.
This road, you hear all the crunching? They've dropped more stones since we came here the last time. It's more like gravel. Look at that guy, that cow. He's looking at us. That's what I'm talking about. He's looking at us like we borrowed money from him and didn't pay him back. Yeah. So they put down more rocks because winter is here. We get more rains in the winter generally. And so the cars will grind the rock into the pavement and it minimizes their maintenance. So there are a lot of little loose pebbles, small gravel. And you see a lot of them to the right. We're staying away from them. You can hear them. They don't harm your tires or anything. They're tiny pebbles, but you don't want to be turning in them. You don't want to be doing anything drastic.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, they put more stones on the road. Not the whole way, just this stretch a little further down. Yeah, those are the stones that have been washed to the side over there. That's why we're using the middle. If you're riding in small gravel like that, don't do any sudden turns or sudden stops because your traction is compromised. Everything needs to be gradual. We'll encounter more as we get closer to the hill in the distance. There's a hill and a switchback. I could ride here every day of the week and not be bored. Just like I can ride my bike every day of the week on the same course and not be bored. Because you see something different every time. I'm not sure what we laugh at. It's the cows. Yeah, the cows are on that side. They're looking at us. They stop what they're doing and they just stare.
The group comes, all the little guys take off. We got a hill here. Oh, Mike Barrera says all the lightweight people. Yeah. You like Mike Barrera, he's cool.
Might be. Us big guys, I like to stand. I just feel I can put more power through there. I mean, you're not going to do it all day. Not like Contador does it for like 20 minutes. But you can't put more power. I like it. And it's different from rider to rider. Some riders are more efficient sitting. I know I'm not more efficient standing, but it feels easier for my body type. And so when I'm going really hard on a climb, I stand in the most difficult spot. There's a skunk on the right there, a dead skunk, and we could smell it. So you can see all the damp areas are the rock, the stones.
They're cute, but they don't
Yeah. All the wet areas are the stones. They're retaining water from the rains last night. We had some
Yeah,
heavy
it wasn't
storms.
like this the last time we came.
Last time we came, we didn't have stones like this. They added it. You can see the stones. Yeah, gravel.
learn that quickly.
So I say, watch it, don't make any.
I was on a group ride, made a turn, and poof, down my
I
leg.
saw a scab on your elbow.
Oh yeah, I had it. I tore up my rib from my hip down to my ankle, and then my shoulder took the worst of it. So it's still now pretty good between two positions there.
She's talking about a crash she had because she still has the scab on her elbow. You know, it's got like battle scars. You can't miss those.
But what's
My
gonna
bike
help?
works, I'll still ride.
So she said her shoulder is a little tight.
Do push-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
It will strengthen the muscles near the joint.
She said she's gonna get her shoulder x-rayed or something to make sure nothing's broken.
Added this.
Yep.
We're getting ready for our winter, I guess. So we have some nice little climbs.
Yeah.
You know, this one's at
So-
5%.
In a little bit, cars will start coming in. There's one in the distance.
I always display the grade because I want to convince myself that I'm not crazy.
I like to see the grade and make sure, yes, I am climbing and what it is.
This is where the little guys jump and we just wait. And when the road just flat, we pull them back in.
I'm going to tell her about when John asked one time.
About here. One of the little guys said, how far away are we from home? He was tired. Paul heard him and Paul started laughing.
Yeah, that was John. We had come when we brought him out here. We filmed that ride. I think it had to be off camera. He asked when we got here, he said, how far away are we from home? So I overstated the distance so they could behave themselves. He was getting tired by the time we hit here. All those lumps they had been attacking.
When we got here, he was tired.
That's funny.
All right.
You see how I pedal to the front? I'm always in a gear that I know I can turn faster if I need to. But when I'm climbing for long periods of time, I like to maintain a reasonable rhythm. Meaning, depending on how you feel at that moment, 100 may not be reasonable. 80 might be. You've got to find that.
Going back on Riley Road, lots busier than this. Yeah, so it's better to come this way because we've done it both ways.
Yeah.
We did this route in both directions, and it's more challenging this way, in my opinion. You have more climbs. But when you get on Riley Road later in the morning, it might as well be in town.
Yeah,
I hate
it becomes an expressway.
Yeah, they're just coming by. They don't all make good decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, this Riley Road going back counterclockwise was just too busy. So we wanted to introduce Laura to the more
The thing about this route is
reasonable
it's 10
volume.
o'clock, by 10:30, we will be close to Magnolia. This is pretty much close to where we started. We'll be like an hour and a half from the start, and maybe 45 minutes to an hour. So you finish the ride, so you go out and come back closer to home than being way out of town.
Yeah, I like this route.
I was looking at the map. Now you got me looking at all the maps.
Yeah, I walked it through.
I've been able to connect the dots on a few roads now. I'm like, okay, I know where I'm at.
Yeah, that's what you got to do when you go to a new area. You got to talk to people, get the reference, and then go look up the map because it will stay with you better. And so you can give yourself more routes to use.
I want to know the names of the roads.
Because our roads have different names. That's what we're talking about. They'll take a highway, and depending on which town you're going through, they'll call it Eva here and something else there. But it's the same highway. Kind of like this road 302 that we're on. They name it Finkel or, you know.
Next week it might be a Burger King. They change those stores in a heartbeat. You can't depend on that.
Yeah, we're talking about using landmarks around our town. Don't do that. Businesses change.
Like you change your clothes.
Yeah, you can't, don't use landmarks in the Houston
I
area.
always tell people, give me an intersection.
Get a street name. Get an intersection. Don't use landmarks. Our businesses change quickly around here.
Hard to keep restaurants.
Because you leave town for a while, you come back, Houston looks different. All of a sudden, the trees are gone, and this is paved. Yeah, you can't do. I don't do landmarks. Give me a street, give me an address.
Different things going on.
Yeah, we're going towards the Renaissance Festival.
We went north, now we're going east. So we're going back to town. So we'll be a little north of where we turn on Riley Road when we stop at that store. So you can do 90 minutes, and at the end of 90 minutes, you're close to home. Yeah, you're not way out. So when we stop, we'll be about maybe a little over an hour from the start of the run. Yeah. Love these kind of roads.
So when I train solo, I spend a lot more time out of the saddle because my body just seems to like it better on these short climbs.
Yeah.
And even on a long climb, when I climb long climbs, when it comes to a pitch like that, I stand. I seem to use less force. My legs seem to like it. So find what works for you. Find what style of climbing works for you.
Yeah, it's Sam Houston for on Bethel Road. That's what it is, yeah. Bethel Road.
So the fact that we can talk says we're in zone 2. My heart rate confirms it. You know, the power meter is all over the place, but it's still, yeah. So if you're gasping for air and your ride is supposed to be zone 2, then you're going too hard. You're doing it wrong. So depending on the purpose of your ride, you need to use these little signals. You know, can I say the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog? Those of you who learn how to type on your own or went to typing class, that was a phrase they use because you touch every key on the keyboard pretty much. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So when I'm riding, I would say that and then see if I was out of breath saying it. That's especially when I just started cycling. I would use that because it's long enough to where, okay, yeah, I can have a conversation. That's the way. That's how you get a feel for RPE as well. And you can tell when your breathing changes. You know, if you're having a deep breathe or whatever, you know your breathing has changed. And if that's not the purpose of that ride, then you back off. Because if you want to improve, you got to go through the zones when necessary, only when they're necessary. Because if you go hard all the time, you will plateau, you will not improve. And other people who have been more disciplined will go faster than you when they go fast. Their fast will be more fast, if you know what I mean. Because their base will be larger. And of course, they would have better recovery because if you're riding hard all the time, you will be stale. You won't have fresh legs. So you can ride every day. Just know what you're doing. So I treat going fast like seasoning, just a dash. You know. But when I do go fast, It's balls out fast. I let it all hang out.
Put a sign on this road.
There's a road called Lakeshore, a little gravel road has a street sign, and it's on the map. We laughed about it. I went and I looked it up after the ride. It's on the map. Lakeshore Drive, gravel road. Those two guys are in the fence. So this is towards the tail end of the route, and I don't know what you all did this weekend, but remember, you have to get your K's in. Let nothing stand in your way, and no matter what, keep the doctors fired.